Once again, this is about Andrews Air Force Base. I forgot all about this. After we did tires and that, I've been there about a year. We had a 4-day weekend. And there was a bunch of us that was in 115. I'd say about 15 of us. Yeah. Over there in Thailand, we used to have what they called a toga party, where you go to a party in just a sheet, and it's a BYOB. You get a bucket and fill the bucket up with ice and pour your drink in it, whether it's beer, whiskey, wine, schnapps, whatever you bring that's alcohol, you pour in there. The squadron provides a 7-Up to add to it. Now, we decided to throw a toga party. We talked to the skipper. Skipper was all in favor of it. Sergeant Major was all in favor of it. We had to get permission from the Air Force Military Police to have the toga party outside the barracks, because we were surrounded by Air Force, and women were already in the Air Force. So anyways, we put up in the NCO and the staff NCO club concerning our toga party. Well, we got this bathtub, put a plunger in it, filled it full of ice, and we put in probably 25 gallons of 7-Up. And then the party started. Party started about 5:30 Friday night. Had a 4-day weekend, and we had trash cans. Had about 6 of them, where when you brought your bottle, you poured it into the bathtub, threw the bottle in the trash can. Well, we had a ball. Had a ball. I was there, even though I was teetotaler then, because I'd gone cold turkey. But I was still in the military. That means I was Antichrist. That means I got involved in it. And anyways, there must have been 30 different items thrown into this bathtub. Well, things progressed. We had our ball. We had loud music and all this stuff. The base CO, Air Force type. Base Sergeant Major, Air Force type. A lot of the higher echelon from that base came over. Skipper, Sergeant Major came over. The whole squadron showed up for it. And about 11:30, 12 o'clock, it started mellowing down. We were sitting outside with the music blaring. People were dancing. Everybody was in togas. Everybody had wearing sheets. Now a few people showed up in uniforms, and we had sheets that they could put over their uniforms in order to blend in with the rest of us. A lot of people were taking movies and pictures and that kind of stuff. But here's the ironic part. About 2:30 in the morning, there were, I'd dare to say there was about 45 of us just sitting around, drinking, having a ball. And we started singing. Well, there's a lot of versions to Row, Row, Row Your Boat. A few of them go something like this. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, that's the one that everybody knows. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Hi, hi, Fuju, I'm in a submarine. You know, and people were just going along with it. Well, this one Air Force girl, drunker than a skunk. I mean, she was staggering. She had a bikini on. The tub was about half full, and it still had ice. You know, plenty of ice in it. Well, she decided to get into the bathtub because she felt warm. So she gets in the bathtub and lays down. And a few of the guys would get drinks by dipping their thing between their legs. Yeah, between her legs. I mean, all of a sudden, she started singing. Her version went something like this. Slide, slide, slide my gun up and down your dick. Merrily, 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 fucking is a trip. Toot toot. Well, she started singing that. And then she got louder singing it. And then she was screaming it. The SPs came over. This was about 4 o'clock in the morning now. And because of complaints about this girl singing, we were told we had to shut her down. So they shut her down. Now, the following week, you may recall this incident that happened. A couple of the big shots. I'm talking about your not NCIS, CID people. A couple of the CID people with no identification. None whatsoever. Parked the car across the street at the strip mall. Walked on the base without being checked. Walked to the flight line. Walk on to Air Force One. And just sat down in the chairs. They were there for 2 hours. Finally, this young kid started vacuuming and came upon him and just started talking to him like he knew him. That's when the 2 CID agents took the kid off the airplane and reported the incident to the president as to what they just did with Air Force One. Boy, you talk about security. Holy mackerel. It took, from that time until I left there, your car was searched every time you got on base. You had to show ID to get off base. I mean, security just went bonkers. So, well, this is another 9.5 minutes, so I'm going to throw this one on there too. I just thought I'd have a little bit of fun and let you know what happened down there at Andrews Air Force Base 73-74. And yeah, we did the Yuma thing. Came out here to Yuma. One of the airplanes, VMFA 251, took care of it in Beaufort, South Carolina. And when they launched it, they left the tail hook up lock in it. If anything would have happened to that airplane and they needed that tail hook, it would not have come down. Well, being a regular, when you're out here in Yuma with the reserves, a regular's not allowed. All we do is supervise. All we do is watch. Well, I was out there watching, making sure that the reserves are doing their jobs, and I noticed that tail hook up lock. Well, I told one of the reserves, doesn't that tail hook look funny? Oh yeah, I better get that off from there. Do what? I better get that off from there. Yeah. Captain. And I called over the reserve captain. What do you make of that tail hook? Captain looked and he goes, well, it's got a tail hook up lock on it. This airplane just got back from a flight. Well, I walked over and I took the tail hook off. Captain cussed me out for working, because it's the job of the reserves. And I looked at the captain and I said, no sir, you don't understand. My commanding officer is getting this tail hook up lock. Not yours. Mine. This airplane came in with this thing on it. Look at the markings on it. VMFA 251. They're the yo-yos that took care of it and launched it out of Buford. That airplane flew from Buford with that tail hook up lock on it. Well, give it to me and I'll take care of it. No, sir. No, sir. This is a regular situation, not a reservist situation. So anyways, I went and walked over there to the ready room. Got a hold of the skipper. Well, I had to go through the gunner. I learned my lesson. I had to go through the gunner. I went in and told the gunner what I just did. The gunner popped up and he goes, "Well, you want me to take care of it?" And I said, "No, you're a little bit busy here. All I'm going to do is give it to the CEO, and I hope the CEO does his job." Oh, trust me, he will. He will, Corporal. Never could get that gunner to call me Gene. Never. But at least he did not call me Corporal Taylor. Just Corporal. He called everybody else by rank and last name. I guess calling me Corporal was the same as calling me Gene. So I just let him go with that. But anyways, I told him, "Nah, you're a little bit busy. I'll take care of it." "Okay, Corporal. Okay. Thanks, Wolf." So I went to the ready room, bumped into the skipper, gave it to the skipper. Skipper just looked at me and said, "What airplane?" So I told him. He walked up to those two officers, sent them back to Andrews that night. Denied them getting their flight time. And they were reserves, both of them. Failure to do your job. They did not walk around that airplane like they were supposed to. And skipper sent them packing. Well, when the skipper did that, you'd be surprised how tight that reserve element became. They were fantastic. I hardly had to do anything. I hardly had to talk to anyone during the 2 weeks that we were here, because that happened the very first day we were here. But we had a real good deployment. Made all the flight schedule, made all the flight times. On the way going home, Gunner came up to me and gave me a compliment. He goes, "Corporal, I don't believe we would have had a good deployment if you didn't do that thing you did the first day with that tail hook." And I'm proud of the skipper for what he did, sending those guys packing. So anyway, things like that, you know, what's it called? Tough love. You know, once again, right way, wrong way, no middle. Anyway, I'm looking at 15:30, so I'm going to cut this off. 15:20.